Right then, we're back with episode 21 of the Midnight Pod. I'll let our guest Suhit, that is how you say it. Suhit.
Yeah.
Introduce himself in a second. But I was just saying, it's been a month since I actually recorded because I was like 5 weeks ahead. Then Christmas happened. I was in Dubai. Did 3 episodes in Dubai, as you'll have seen by now. And then no one wants to fucking record over Christmas, New Year time. And then back in the game with a very interesting guest, and I guess still rinsing my network because you know Arslan, Adrian,
yeah,
and a few others as well, as I've seen. Then I started reading about your story, and obviously like you were like, let's come on the pod. And then I mean, someone left a comment as well, like I was saying before, saying I'm shit at introductions because I don't research my guests, which is kind of true because it's not my full-time thing, but it's also just because I think it's kind of keeps it more authentic, more genuine, which is what I think this pod's all about. If I just get to know the guests like on camera, and Tokyo's here licking the shit out of me. But I guess like we'll dive into a million things, I'm sure. First question, as usual, is just like basically who the fuck are you? What do you do? What's your background in a nutshell? And then yeah, we can talk about that.
So I'm a Suhit Amin. As you can tell, I'm Scottish.
First Scottish guest as well.
It's surprising. I'm 20. Grown up in Scotland all my life, and basically, I run currently as my main business an influencer marketing company and a talent management company. So it's mostly within the gaming and esports areas because that's my sort of forte. But essentially what we do within the business is we exclusively manage social media influencers, you know, the usual, get them sponsorships, brand deals, negotiations. And then at the same time, we have clients who are brands and run their kind of media and marketing plans with influencers at the heart of them.
Yeah. And how did you get into that?
So basically,
you're only 20 now, right?
Yeah, I got into this space.
It makes me feel really fucking old.
I got into this space when I was like 13. It's a very, very cringy story, and I always look back and I'm like, it's mad that how cringe it was just got me to this position. So I used to be like really, really like into gaming when I was younger. So I was like just playing everything. I was mostly like Minecraft, FIFA, you know, the usual stuff. But when I was like 13, I wanted to become a YouTuber. And me and my mates, we started just doing, you know, classic like gaming content. But I slowly realized, and obviously we all realized I wasn't really going to go anywhere. You know, it's like 13-year-olds playing on really shitty laptops, really bad quality, high squeaky voices, no proper strategy behind anything they were doing. So they all got out of the game. But I was just like that one guy who continued doing it. But through that, I discovered the whole sort of business side of YouTube, and I realized I actually was more interested in that. And I quickly realized I'm not going to go anywhere as a creator myself, but I could get into the business side and learn about that. So I learned about, I got a job with just a couple of friends who were starting something. They were like, "Oh, do you want to come, you know, volunteer? We'll just start this and work with us." So basically, it was back then. It was called YouTube Multi-Channel Networks. I
remember them.
You remember MCNs like Machinima?
2013. I had a music channel.
Yeah.
Like I was like back in the days where you could comment on other channels to get like subscribers and shit. I got like 5,000 subscribers doing like One Direction covers. It's still actually there if you want to go and search it.
You were doing One Direction covers?
Yeah. I wanted to be like, I could kind of sing.
Yeah.
Like I'm better at freestyle rapping now, which I really shouldn't do on this pod, but I was in like a band and shit, and people say I sang like Niall Horan in that. And
right, fair enough.
It was an ego boost, but no, it was short-lived career. But yeah, all those networks and shit. Just
I know it's mad because obviously like that, none of that stuff is relevant at all really today. But I was involved in MCNs, and it was all kind of came through just trying to be a YouTuber and understanding how actually YouTubers would make money, the monetization, advertising within the platform. So that was back when I was like 13, 14. I was you know, thinking back, and it's like, what was it? Like, why was I like this one weird kid just like doing this type of stuff back then? But obviously it's paid off now. But yeah, I just kind of developed my experience within the space. It was, again, mostly kind of gaming focused because I was mostly interested in that. So working with gaming creators, MCNs that were focused on gaming. And I started my first business back when I was 15, which was like a YouTube MCN at the time, because that's just what I'd learned. But unfortunately, because I was 15, I had to have like a business partner who was 18, and he fucked me over. And obviously, given that he's, you know, was 18, he just basically took the business after like a month. But you know, it was a learning experience, you know, not to get into like business with like, you know, people you can't fully trust. But yeah, I was just basically working within this gaming, esports, influencers, YouTube space. up until around the time when I was 16, and I kind of got my big break in my career.
At 16.
The 16, well, the big break from. I mean, I've been doing this for like 3 years, basically making absolutely nothing. I think the most I ever made from anything was like 2K when I sold like a YouTube channel. Like the biggest YouTube channel I ever had was like 37K subscribers. It was like this really bad like animation channel. I would make animations in like Five Nights at Freddy's, that game.
Yeah.
And that one actually did it alright. I got like somebody has like 3 mil views and stuff. So but I ended up just not wanting to do it. And I sold that channel for like 2K. But like basically up until then, I really wasn't making very much money.
Did you ever think you could go on and be like a proper YouTuber?
Nah.
Or did you not want to be?
I would have loved to be, but I just don't think I was entertaining enough, to be honest, or had the kind of vision to actually become one. I just don't think that I would have been able to capture an audience and actually probably become one. Maybe now with my knowledge of like how the algorithms and everything works, potentially, but back then I don't think I had any hope, because the channel kind of plateaued at sort of 36K. It wasn't really going anywhere, and then I managed to somehow still sell. I sold it for like two grand, and that was like the kind of most I'd ever made at that point. Obviously you're making little bits of money doing little things here and there, but when I was 16, I was just applying for jobs really within the influencer space and gaming space, and I applied for a job at a company called ESL, which is the world's biggest esports company.
Sorry, while you were at school?
Yeah. Okay, so I was in school whilst doing this.
That's what I mean.
Again, so I was like, it was basically just the case of go home, get your homework done, and then get on my laptop and just start. Because I was really passionate about it. That was the thing. It was like just really, I don't know, it was really fun. Like, if people who are really interested in football, I was just really interested in the YouTube space. And I don't know, it's weird. And I still, I did a lot of sports and, stuff at school.
Yeah.
But this was like my main passion, was just kind of the YouTube space and how I could actually monetize that. It was just really an interesting discovery when I was younger, because I'd always wanted to be a doctor up until when I discovered I can actually do what I enjoy online, and it's potentially I can monetize this and make a career out of it. So then that sort of sparked some sort of entrepreneurialism in me at that point. And then it completely shifted, and I was like, I'm not going down the traditional route of being a doctor. I want to learn how I can channel my passions and make money for myself online. But I got this job at ESL. I was like the youngest ever employee at 16. The guy in the division just like took a chance on me because he thought that.
Like a full-time job or part-time?
So the idea was that I was still at school, but I essentially, once I finished school, they would just like, I would go to the Germany HQ and just work full-time. So I was basically just paid as like I was a contractor, and I would just work on it as much as I could have skills. So again, I was making like 800 quid a month from that. 16, I was, and that's the first time I was ever making really much money. So I was like, this is cool, let's do it. And again, like for that, at that time, I told a few people about it, and they were like, yo, that's mad, like, because no one else is like making 800 quid a month.
How did you manage to get that job in the first place though? Because obviously at 16,
I just applied for it on like Indeed or something. It came out, and then the guy took me for an interview, and then I just had a chat with him, just like open and honest, and was like, right, this is the situation, I've been in the space, and he just like, he said, I think he was like, he saw a little bit of himself in me type thing. It's that whole thing. I just like thought that I could like prove my value to them. I just kind of sold myself on that call. And then I got the job, and I started on like the 1st of January 2018, back when I was 16. So I was working on that, and that was great. I like learned so much about the space, how to work with big brands. Like I was working with like Tommy Hilfiger and stuff like through that job, huge creators, that I would never thought that 16-year-old me would ever have the opportunity to work with. And yeah, I think I learned most of my skills in terms of the influencer marketing world from that role. Entrepreneurialism and like running a business and doing things like that was probably from my experience since I was 13. But basically I had that job, and I unfortunately, like a month after getting that job is where my life like fucking changed. So I was in 5th year of school. So in Scotland you have like basically primary school and then secondary school, so it's S1 to 6. So I was in 5th year of school, and that's where you do like your hires, and that's the exams that like get you into uni basically. So I was like starting from my hires, had this job, so things were already pretty intense and like trying to manage and balance everything. And then in February I was diagnosed with cancer. So this is like completely changed everything in in my life. So the story was kind of weird of how I like found that out. So basically, I was diagnosed with a cancer called stage 2A Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is basically like a cancer of the lymphatic system, which is connected to the immune system. But it's like glands and stuff in your neck, so you have like little bumps in your neck. So I was like, I remember the story so vividly. It was like New Year's Eve 2017. I was on my way to like a house party, and I'm sitting. My parents are driving me, and I just like feel this lump in my neck. And I brushed it off as if it was nothing, because when I was 4, I like had a similar one, and they just cut it out, and it was fine. So I was like, okay, this is cool. But throughout like January, there's just more and more just kept forming and like growing and stuff. And I was like, right, this is
like on the outside?
No, they're like just like inside my neck. It's like the glands in your neck, but they just kept like growing and like in size, and there's like more and more. So they just like had loads of little bumps in my neck.
Yeah,
it was just weird. Like enlarged glands. And usually when you get a gland, like if you're ill or something, you get one, but it goes away. These just never went away. So my parents are both doctors, so I was like, right, what's up?
That's handy.
And my dad was like, right, so got me referred, got checked, and then I had to get like one of the lumps like cut out to like do testing on. And then in February, I think February 23rd, got taken to the Beatson Cancer Hospital in Glasgow, where I'm from, and they diagnosed me, and that was the main pinnacle moment of my life, which kind of like changed everything, the kind of whole path of everything. So obviously, I was getting chemo. I got chemo for 6 months.
So you were 16 when you got diagnosed?
Yeah, I got 16, got diagnosed, and I started getting chemo from March when I turned 17.
Yeah.
Got chemo on my birthday, which was brutal. I was like, celebrate my 17th in the cancer wards. But yes, I was 17 when I was getting chemo. Between March and August 2018. And I was still, working this job at ESL. They were pretty understanding about everything, but it was, I still wanted to do it. School obviously were relatively understanding and stuff, and they wanted me to all like just basically drop out for that year and just do do it next year. But I was pretty determined just not to do that. And I think,
so you were still going to school as normal?
Yeah, still going to school as normal, but obviously I would had to take like a week at a time off, like after chemo. So basically I was getting chemo every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the kind of week after chemo, you're like fucked and you can't really do much. You just like are ill, and there's like a lot of different things. And then kind of after a week, you sort of start feeling a bit normal again. And then obviously at the end of that week, you're doing another chemo session. So I would go.
What are they actually doing chemo? This might sound super ignorant.
Yeah, so it was so basically chemo's like there's loads of different types of chemo, but the one I got was called ABVD, and that's just like 4 different like medicines essentially. I don't know if I call them medicines, but it's basically 4 different liquids. So you get sat, you get a drip. So I had like a drip connected to my vein here. It was left hand basically, and then they just basically pump chemicals up your vein.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You sit there, they pump chemicals up your veins for however long it takes, and then either obviously if it's really serious or the different types of cancer, you get kept in the ward. Otherwise, you get to go home. So I was just taken back. But yeah, that was basically, I don't really know what it is, but from my understanding, it's like basically just kills everything inside you, like all your cells and stuff. So it kills obviously all the bad cancer cells, but even the good stuff. So that's why you're like so bad after it for a bit until the kind of stuff regenerates.
Yo fellas, quick one. First bit of promo for the pod. You may or may not have heard, I released a fucking ecom course a few months ago. Basically spent like 6 months making it because I was in between businesses, as you probably know if you follow my shit. I must say, 12 hours long, it's fucking quality content. I was going to drop it at like 1,500 quid with some bullshit guru-y webinar and all that rubbish, but as you know, it's not my main thing. I'm working on a new brand right now, very, very fucking much in the trenches, which is why I think it's actually a better course than everything else out there, because it's built on real experience of my brands in the past and my current one. I think it's super, super valuable. If you're interested in ecom, you're already in ecom, and you wanted to get into ecom, 0 to 1, starting a brand from scratch, then definitely worth investing in. Link is in the bio of this video, or podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever the fuck you're listening or watching, and enjoy the rest of the pod.
So yeah, I was getting that, and then how I see it is like, a lot of people see it as when you have like a kind of traumatic experience in your life, there's kind of, I see it as like there's kind of 2 ways you can approach it. Either you let it fuck you, or you take an opportunity out of it. So my mindset really changed after this, and my cancer is really curable. So I had like 85% chance of getting cured anyway, but there's always that little voice in the back of your head that's like, what if I'm that 15%? So
is it like super, is it way more rare in young people? I mean, I don't know if you know, but
I'm not sure, but I imagine cancer in general probably is way more rare in young people. My one that I had was like not rare, but it wasn't common. It's like uncommon, especially in young people. Although it's kind of weird. I know another guy from my hometown who got the exact same cancer as me like 3 months later. So I don't really know. I don't really know how no one really knows how it works. Like I was healthy. Like I did a lot of sport. You know, I went to the gym. Not to be honest, I didn't really go to the gym much. I played hockey back then. I was healthy. Didn't really drink that much. Never smoked or anything. And it's like, how have I just like all people just somehow got this? But yeah, my cancer, I say, was one that was relatively high chance of getting cured, 85%. But there's that voice in the back of my head. It's like, what if I'm at 15%? What if I'm not gonna be alive? What if I'm gonna be dead in a year, 2 years, 5 years? And ever since I kind of discovered online entrepreneurship, and even just for me in general, I always wanted to like make something of myself, regardless of what field it was in before I like died. It was always like a thing. Is like I want to like leave a kind of like a legacy, make an impact, be successful in some way. So I was like, right, it just drove me. The ambition was, I'm just gonna quit this job. I'm just gonna start my own business and see where it can go and try and be successful in that way. So I left ESL the end of June, and quite quickly, start of July, just started my influencer marketing company. At the time, it was solely talent management, Solderson Media, which I run. And basically, it was quite good because obviously I had all the guys that I was managing over at ESL before, and they wanted to stick with me, so they just came through with me to get managed. And then obviously I had connections to a lot of brands through working with ESL, so it all fell into place quite nicely. I didn't really know much about running a business, scaling business at the time, so I was just really going with the flow. Like, this is something I take my mind off the shit that's happening in my life, and something I can get into. So I didn't really know what was going to happen with it, to be honest, but quite quickly things just started scaling. We started getting more creators signed, and within 6 months,
did you quit your job before you started it?
I quit the job and then just started this very quickly after. That was the kind of idea, was I want to do my own thing. So I quit the job, started this in July, and then within the first 6 months we like turned over 100k, and I was like, that was like the kind of point where I was like, shit, this could actually be something. So I had to bring on like someone to work with me, and then now it's been going for like 3.5 years now that I've been running it for, and now we're like a 7-figure agency, and I'm just kind of focused on, I guess, being a bit more of like a serial entrepreneur just now, starting different things. I know obviously you're working on a lot of different projects as well. I think the kind of natural regression is once you kind of make sort of a business in this space which can generate decent cash, you can start working on other like kind of passion projects. So I'm working on a couple of other things now. We got like a team mostly based up in Scotland, but there's other people different around the world as well. And we now do both talent management and marketing for the brands. The majority of the revenues you can imagine comes from actually the brands, but we have clients signed to us like big tech companies like Acer, Asus. We've just recently signed a big alcohol company, AB InBev, who like make like all the beers like Bud Light and stuff. So we're doing a lot of influencer stuff for them because they're trying to get into the gaming market.
How'd you get clients like that? Because I think people watching, and myself included, not being in the agency space, I'm always like, if you start an agency, you fucking go and get some, tiny econ brand and beg them to pay you £200 a month or whatever.
I mean that's kind of how it started. Like at the start, we were working with like relatively small, but it's obviously now 3.5 years on, we can work with people of this scale. I think for me, I was very lucky in the sense that I was quite quickly able to just bring obviously the talent over from my previous job, and then with the talent that you sign comes the brands, because obviously if a brand is interested in that specific talent, they're going to reach out. And then how we would usually do it at the start was, if a brand reached out for one of our exclusive influencers, just to work with them, we would try and obviously make that deal happen, and then try and upsell them to work as an agency client and turn them into that. So at the start, it was all just really cold outreach. LinkedIn was massive for us in our space. It's just LinkedIn was basically where majority of our business came from, was through LinkedIn or inbounds from our exclusive influencers. And then as time's gone along, it's just a lot of the big stuff has come from like referrals of other brands. So if they've or just kind of case studies. So if we've put something out and then other brands just want us to basically replicate what we've done for that brand. So Acer came from them reaching out to one of our exclusive influencers to work with, and then we upsold that, and then now we've been working with them.
When you say exclusive influencers, firstly, what does that mean? And secondly, how do you get people to be exclusive to you?
Okay, so exclusive influencers are essentially influencers that are signed to you as in a management contract, and you're their sole management, sole manager. Right. So every kind of commercial opportunity runs through you. Yeah. No one else can, and if someone else wants to bring it, it runs through you. So as I say, at the start, it was very much just I was managing these guys at ESL. It was very easy to bring them over because I was obviously providing them some sort of value there. Then they were putting me in touch with different creators who were looking for management, and they were vouching for me. That was a massive thing. But really, it's just building your network in the space. So we've spent, obviously years just trying to get known in the influencer space, network with a lot of the big creators, provide some sort of value up front before obviously trying to sign them. So how we typically do it is that we'll try and work with them non-exclusively. So obviously the good thing is that we have these agency clients, so every time they're running a campaign, we'll try and get them involved in that campaign, show them essentially what we can do for them when they're not signed to us, and then try and sell them on the idea of, okay, if you were exclusively managed with us, we could be doing XYZ times by 10.
Who's the biggest influencer
that we've ever that were signed with us or we've ever worked with?
Well, I guess both.
Ever worked with?
I saw some pretty big. I was looking on your Instagram.
Yeah, we've so I'd say probably just in like the UK space, like Vicstar is like one of the biggest guys we work with quite consistently. So some of the sideman guys, never been able to get access to KSI, but the rest of them, like I've got on WhatsApp, speak to them and do deals with.
That's pretty cool.
Biggest guy signed to us is like probably like some big guy in Netherlands that probably no one's gonna know. It's like this Photoshop design creator who's pretty big on there, but I don't think anyone's gonna know who he is. But in terms of just like some creators we've worked with in the UK, like we've done stuff with like, as I say, the Sidemen are pretty big. Olivia Neal, we've done some stuff with, and obviously she's blown up. Basically, you say Olivia, everyone knows Olivia Neal.
She used to live around here, I think.
Actually, everyone knows.
I got in trouble for liking some of her pictures when I was with my ex because they had the same name, and I think it caused a bit of an uproar.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
She's nice. She's cute.
She's a nice girl. But no, so in terms of that space, definitely the Sidemen, some of the biggest, basically, and I guess all the other UK YouTubers kind of fall under.
How does like, say you're doing a deal with Vicstar or whatever, for example?
Yeah.
Like, what's the first moving part from like, I don't know, you getting involved and ultimately him getting paid to then deliver something for a brand?
Yeah, so when it's with like Vic, it will usually come from our...
And why does he end up working with you, I suppose? Because obviously I would imagine there's loads of agencies.
Yeah, so he's not exclusively signed to us.
Yeah.
But Vic I think only works with like 5 agencies that he like trusts and likes, but he's not like exclusively signed to anyone because Vic is extremely smart. He can handle all that stuff and stuff. He's a very smart businessman as well, so he doesn't really need a manager because he's got it all sorted. He just wants to have like a kind of selection of preferred companies that he knows will bring him, have clients, will bring him good stuff. So for Vic, or people who are non-exclusive to us, it would mostly come from our client says, okay, we've got this budget, we want to reach this audience, I want to do some sort of campaign, and then us as the agency has to then work out how are we going to deliver this and what creators will deliver this and will fit within the messaging, within the creative. So we would plan that out with the brand, work that out, and then utilize the
it starts with an existing brand client.
Yeah, it starts with an existing brand client, or even if we're trying to bring in a new brand and we've brought in a new brand and just for, let's say they're trying to target, 18-25, male-oriented audience, that's right up Vic's kind of audience, then, we would speak to Vic, basically bring him the opportunity for the client, and obviously if he's interested in the opportunity with that client, negotiate the fee that fits within obviously the different KPIs the brand has and what Vic wants, and then get the contract signed, get all the content produced, delivered, and then uploaded. And then
how much does someone like that get paid for a brand deal? Because I'm just straight up asking, because that's what everyone wants to know.
Depends what sort of thing he does. But for example, like Vic, is charged as like 20 grand for 6 seconds in a video, for example, or some one brand 35k. So like it depends on the
like 5 million subscribers.
It's I'd say it's honestly more dependent these days just on the viewership and engagement. But for someone like him, because the Sidemen are kind of like idolized, and it's like kind of so premium. Even if, like, for example, his views aren't even like mad anymore. They're pretty like normal for, you know, there's creators way smaller than him in terms of followers, subscribers, who get way more, but it's just because of like who they are. So again, it also all depends on like the, you know, deliverables. So, you know, paying him for an Instagram story is going to be way less than paying for a 6 seconds in his YouTube video. So, you know, he'll charge maybe between 2 to 4K for one Instagram story. But it's actually just mental. You think, you know, he takes a selfie, writes a bit of text, puts a link, hashtag ad, 4K, done.
Yeah.
Very little. It's like, and that's like a very appealing part, like, of being an influencer.
Yeah, I suppose it's a classic case of like, you're not paying me for the time, you're paying me for the, you know, the skill and the years prior. Yeah, to
exactly. That is the whole thing, and that's one thing that a lot of brands, a lot of brands don't actually really understand within the space, and you know, they're very much focused on just the raw metrics of like, okay, we need to achieve this within this CPM, this, you know, cost per click or whatever. Yeah. And then they're always often shocked at like why creators are asking for a specific amount, but they don't realize that, you know, ultimately you'll all be getting what the metrics at the end of the day, but you know, that creator has put in countless hours filming, editing, ideating that specific video, producing that, you know, maybe they've got to pay an editor to put together that ad for the brand. So it all kind of is a lot more than just the raw metrics. But you know, in the space, a lot of the time the brand does often have the final, because the creators are really the ones that are, you know, they're wanting the deals really, because they need to make a sustainable income. So it does tend to sort of favor the brand until you get to like the top, where then it more so starts, the creator has more of the buying power almost.
Do you find, I feel like YouTube is obviously like a much deeper platform than something like Instagram. Like obviously YouTubers have Instagram and probably now TikTok and shit as well. But I mean, like even with this podcast, I've said to a few people like, what, like 3K subs at the time of filming, or what, not even that. But I feel like the engagement's pretty good. Like I get loads of messages on Instagram, etc. Obviously way smaller scale, but then you could have some Instagram girl that has 1 million followers, but they're all 16-year-old like kids in Asia that are just fucking wanking over her pictures. And it's not like, there's no depth there. It's not really a following. It's just like, I mean, technically it is, but it's not like a fan base.
They're there for one reason. Numbers.
So like, do you notice that like YouTube is getting paid more than like Instagram, or is it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Really? I mean, YouTube is always, in terms of like the economy behind it, YouTube is where you'll see higher pay, then probably Instagram. TikTok's pretty limited, and then Twitter probably is like very simple. No, and that, to be honest, Twitter, you don't really have many like brand deals come through Twitter. If you have a brand deal on Twitter, it's come as like an extension of like a bigger deal, that for example will be like I want a YouTube video and then like a tweet promoting that or whatever. But yeah, YouTube definitely has the higher economy with it. But it can depend, because, you know, for example, let's say that, you know, girl had a fan base that was perfect for the brand. They were really heavily engaged, and sometimes, to be honest, like some of those people are the ones that can drive the most results. Like we recently did a campaign, and it was for basically it was basically very simple. It was just like the brand wanted to get signups to their to their site via giveaway or whatever, right? And this is this girl who's got like a really like down bad fan base. Like it's like you see the comments and it's like, you have so much power over these guys, and you can, and that's just like sometimes. No, she's not even an OnlyFans girl. She's just like this. Really? She's just like this random like uni girl from London. Like who's just like relatively attractive, and now all of her fans are just obsessed with her. But she's blown up so much. But it's just like the case, for example, anything she just says, they will do. So it's like, go sign up for this giveaway.
Olivia O'Neill?
No, this is just like a different girl. You probably won't know her. It's just like a different girl. But yeah, Olivia O'Neill, for example, probably could do the exact same as what I'm saying. But like sometimes it's these people who just have those audiences, as you're saying. They'll just say, right, go sign up for this giveaway. And even if the people don't want to, they'll just do it because of like how infatuated they are, and they cult following, exactly. So, but obviously it has to, you know, the demographic does matter. So, you know, she has like a very high UK following, so that's where it's beneficial. Obviously, if it was the case where it's just, you know, Asia or South America or something, then it would be completely different. but the space is crazy. Like with female creators, like it's even more just because we obviously majority of stuff that we've done is more male oriented, because that's where more of the gaming brands are in. But we've pivoted quite a lot and are no longer like solely focused on kind of gaming, tech, entertainment. I've got one of my team like kind of heads up sort of the more sort of female side, and it's just crazy seeing how that side works in comparison, and just the power like some of them have just because of just the way the world is now.
Yeah. Do you think females convert better then? Or is it just like their audience is more technically engaged, but it's just a bunch of guys?
I mean, it would probably all depend on the female or what they're promoting, to be honest. But I think, to be honest, female, like in our experience, like if what we've not really done massively with it, like I would say in terms of like what we've done is probably like 90-10, like male female like split and stuff. Actually no, maybe like 80-20 now, but I'd say like when we've done female stuff, they've converted like really well. So I think it probably is, just the way the society is now. Like but I guess it could just be this. It could be the same. Like if it was like a guy who had a similar sort of following to that. It's more so, I think, just based around who they are and what type of following they have.
Yeah. Loads of interesting stuff. I think a lot of people watching are probably going to not believe that you're 20 because you make me feel fucking old because you sound wise beyond your years. Coming back to the whole cancer thing then, because obviously, fucking shit times. Are you fully clear of that now?
So I would say I am, but in the eyes of the NHS, I'm not. So basically, when you finish your treatment, you get put in remission, but you're technically not cured. But I technically would say I am. So I'm in remission for 5 years, but I've got I'm coming onto my 4th year now, so I've got like 2 more years of remission, and I still get checked up like every 6 months, or I think it's now 6 months. I have to go to the hospital, get checkups and stuff, but I would say I'm fine. I've had no problems really since. I had a little bit of an issue with like my heart right after treatment, but that was just because of the treatment. That's all fine. But yeah, I'd say I'm clear now.
Yeah. And obviously you started a business. I mean, like, especially all the shit I was reading about you, like that was obviously the thing that like jumped out most. Do you think you started it? Do you think you would have started the business the same way if that hadn't happened?
I've been asked this question.
Like most people would probably just go into a fucking hole and give up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I probably would have still started this company at some point. I just don't think at that specific time, and I wouldn't have had as much drive to do it. I think I probably would have gone down, probably finished uni before trying to start the business. I still do uni, by the way, as well.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Skips a lot here. Wait.
So after I finished, so the reason
you were doing all this while you were at the time would have been at sixth form then?
So I started the company in the summer of just finishing 5th year and then going to 6th year of school, and then after your 6th year of school you go to uni in Scotland. It's 4 years.
Right.
But I'm leaving at the end of this year instead of doing my 4th year. I'll explain that in a second. But I
completely assumed you dropped out.
Yeah, so I technically am now, but I'm technically not at the same time. I've worked out a great system, but basically I come from my a very kind of like I'm 3/4 Indian and 1/4 Kenyan, but I come from like a very like Indian family. So like kind of like the culture is go to school, do well, get a good job, that type of thing. So at the time it was like always. I've always been really academic. I was like good at school and stuff, and it was just like something ingrained in me. So I was like, uni, I need to go to uni still because of that. Although my parents never really pressured me to do it after the whole experience, and they saw like my business. They actually were like, just take a gap year. You might even need to go, or just don't go. But at the start, I was like, there was kind of 3 main reasons I went. It was one, at the time, obviously this was all still very very like new to me, and I was like. Could this, it's going well just now, but I don't know how sustainable this is, so it was like a backup option. Secondly, it was like uni lifestyle. Basically, I don't really need to say much more about that. Just like,
where did you go to uni?
St Andrews, so that's what.
Where not St William, Prince William, Kate
met. Yeah,
you trying to meet Kate? Is that where you went?
No, I've actually been in the exact room he had.
What, like his uni room?
Yeah.
So you've been in the room where he was fucking Kate?
Yeah. I've slept in that bed before.
I guess he probably officially wasn't. I don't know if like the royals and no sex before marriage or something. But
no, because they lived in this he lived in this 5-bed flat that is weird traditions in St Andrews. You have like academic families. So my academic mum and dad like lived in this.
Is it a posh uni?
Yeah.
Is it like
it's like
Durham spec?
Yeah, it's basically if you don't get to Oxford or Cambridge, you go to
because
you go to Durham or St Andrews basically,
okay,
or like UCL and stuff. But it's like the best uni in Scotland, and it is very very like posh and like international. So I did economics and management,
proper degree. Yeah, I did fucking entrepreneurial business for 6 weeks and dropped out.
Well, I mean, the management stuff I wouldn't really say is proper. Like economics, was generally interesting. But yeah, so where was I? I was saying, so yeah, the second, and then the third reason was, was like to try and like, because St Andrews is a place where you get so many international students and like really really wealthy people. Like there's like obviously like princesses, princes stuff comes out to try and like build a network and like meet people within that space. So I'm in my third year right now, and I'm finished. I'm leaving the end of this year, but I realized basically throughout this year the 3 reasons that I started and was continuing doing it are now all just defunct. Because if I needed a backup option, uni would not help that. It would basically, if I need to get a job, they would base it more on what I've done, my experience,
100%.
And also we all know that from being in the online space there are so many different methods to make money online. So I would probably just find and work in a different space if I needed to.
Got the skill set.
Exactly. Yeah. Secondly was uni lifestyle. I'm kind of bored of that now because I've realised that non-uni lifestyle and like actually real world like parties, like travelling and stuff is way better. And to be honest, St Andrews not really got a very good nightlife, to be frankly honest.
I was going to say, I mean, I've never been there. But
it's tight. It's very small.
Imagine.
It's not got a great nightlife, but it's got, there are some good stuff, good things. And then thirdly was like the networking stuff, and then that's simply you make a way better network being an entrepreneur than I would in uni. Like I've met so many interesting people that have helped me and whatnot. So basically in Scotland you do 4 years, in England you do 3 years, but I found out that you can leave after 3 years and still get a degree. You just don't get honours, and I don't really need honours. But I'm now at the stage where it's like I've got like 3 months left, so there's no.
Have you actually been like doing the work yourself, or is there some hack going on it?
So in first year, it was literally just the case of it was literally I just got retaught everything I learned in 6th year, so I didn't really have to study or do anything. I just went through it. Second year, obviously when the pandemic and stuff hit, everything went online, which just made it so easy to just do everything with your mates. And I didn't even do very well in second year, to be honest. Just kind of scraped through. And then this year I don't do any subjects that have any exams, so it's just like coursework and stuff. And I say I've chosen like entrepreneurship, I chose entrepreneurship and advertising and marketing, right? So
which you're already doing.
So exactly, it's the case where it's not been too difficult. This semester I've been doing like economics, so it might be I'll have to work out how I'm gonna make this kind of all work and still get the degree. But I was like, I've got 3 months left, so I can either drop out now and waste me being there for 2.5 years and getting nothing, or I just go for the next 3 months. And I don't even ever go. I'm a study online student, so I don't really go. I just do my stuff online and then just do it for the next 3 months and get the degree. So I was like, and it's free in Scotland anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
We don't have to pay, so it's not like I'm wasting any money or whatever. Obviously, there's the opportunity costs and stuff of me being up there, but again, because I'm study online student, I still basically live the life that I would regardless. So I do that. I'm leaving the end of this year. How did we get into this topic, me still being uni?
I actually don't know, Christ.
But yeah, so yeah, that's I think no, it was about the, like if I would have started a business before, I think I would have finished, gone to uni, done it all, maybe even done a master's. Actually, to be fair, probably not. I realised in like first and second year I just don't like studying and doing like uni work. Same. And I probably still would have been an entrepreneur. I probably just would have started the business after uni, to be honest with you. So I think it was definitely that experience that just made me start it way quicker. And obviously it was a shit time, but I'm very, very, very thankful for that experience, because I would definitely not be anywhere in the position I was, or have like the mindset, mentality, or be the person I am if it wasn't for that.
How long was that period?
So
when you got diagnosed to when it was in what's it called?
Yeah, remission. So it was diagnosed in February, put in remission on like September the 9th, 7th and 9th of 2018. So like 7-8 months of it basically. And obviously like for a month or two after, I was still having to recover from everything because chemo like batters your body. Like hair, had to get my hair grown back and stuff.
That 7 months, were you like actually working on the business?
Well, from July to September, yeah. Because it was like, if I'm at home lying in bed, my fingers still work. just literally lie on my lap and just get stuff started. And I say it was like really a thing that was like to keep my mind off what was the shit in my life. It was just such a good thing to focus on. Like I would just sometimes forget what was like happening because I was just so engrossed in trying to make this work. And I just found it so fun and I was so passionate about it. So yeah, I did it all during that time. And it also just really taught me as well, like how to just work really efficiently because I was always trying to, I still did my hires, still balanced that, did all my exams, stayed in school, started the business, and then obviously had, obviously this at the same time.
Yeah, fucking hell. I think a lot of people watching, well, probably not people watching, but people that talk shit in like the comments. There was some TikTok earlier that I was reading, some cunt commented saying that, because I like TikTok clip from YouTube, and he was saying that I'm like the male Molly May because of that whole Molly May thing.
Oh, right,
and I was like, mate, just watch a full episode and you won't say that, but obviously you'd just be sat
that Molly May thing.
Sat in his mum's basement.
That Molly May thing I was thinking about is like, she had like the right intention, but she just delivered it in like obviously the wrong way.
Yeah, I think it's just like cancel culture in it.
Yeah, it's definitely cancel culture but I've seen a lot of people like on her side, like, she's 22. She said
I definitely see both sides.
I see both sides for sure. Like I get the message she's trying to say, but obviously, it's the way it delivered. For example, she's the way she's come across is like everyone, regardless if you're on the street or come from a wealthy family, you can do the exact same stuff. Yeah. Obviously, you can't, but she is obviously saying. I think the way she was trying to put it out was that just do something with your time. Ultimately, and anyone can make themselves something.
Shush.
But yeah,
sneezing about.
delivered it very wrong, really, and it has a lot of backlash.
Yeah, because what I was going to say on that is, like there's fucking people that are just sat at home in like their mum's basement, like wanking and talking shit on the internet, like hypothetically. And then,
I mean, not even hypothetically, probably are.
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, yeah, anyone that writes a hate comment is definitely doing that. But yeah, then on the flip side, you got 17-year-old you who literally had fucking cancer, is still going to school, sixth form, whatever it was at the time, uni, and is starting a business. So like, where does that come from? Like you say, both your parents are doctors. Obviously, they're not entrepreneurs, but like, where do you think that drive comes from?
I don't know, to be honest. I generally don't.
Because I think like even entrepreneurial people, well, like typically, if they had fucking cancer, it'd probably just be like, right, I'm not starting a business at the same time. That's pretty extreme.
I get
like
what you
David
mean.
Goggins spec.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It was just I've always been quite like interested in like leadership, being outgoing. I've always been quite confident throughout my time, and I think my parents, they raised me very well and like to be quite strong-minded and stuff. And as I say, I was always just very much the type of guy. It was like I want to be successful no matter what happens. So it was really just when my perspective changed and that all happened, it just amplified what I already wanted to do and just made it more real. And I was like, okay, this situation is real and I've got to do something, otherwise I could die and just be like some scum and shit and like not have done anything. So I think it just came from like what I already wanted to achieve, and that experience just amplified everything and just made me like really take some serious action at that specific point. And obviously there are times where you want to stop and quit and everything, but it was just that.
Yo fellas, quick one. You may or may not have noticed there's been a bit of merch, so to speak, in recent episodes. We've got two different things. We've got some of the retro style OG Neon Beach posters that I designed like 4 years ago. You may have seen it on my Instagram. And then we've got some of the best selling OG viral style neon signs that basically did start that entire craze about 2 years ago now. So yeah, if you want to add something to your home office, your living room, just anywhere sick basically that you want to add that extra thing to and support the channel, then you can check that out. Link is in the bio, midnight.co/shop. And yeah, just an aesthetic item to complement the process, I suppose. Cheers for watching and enjoy the rest of the pod.
voice keeps breaking because I've lost my voice from last. I was at a concert last night.
I've got a fucking cold again.
I was at a concert last night. And I was shouting and like my voice.
Were you at Ian Dio?
Yeah.
He's lit. I like that
Yeah,
song. What's that song that was like massive last summer?
Moods.
I don't know. I only know like one of his songs, but I saw it on your story.
Yeah, my so one of our influencers is like a Fortnite YouTuber with like 2.4 million subs, and it was really weird because like last year he like wished him happy birthday on Twitter, and Ian just saw it and DM'd him, was like, "Yo, George just play Fortnite," so they like became kind of pally. So we just got like went and like got VIP stuff. We never went for any of the VIP stuff because it was like you had to come at 6:30 and we weren't gonna go. But it was H and Dino were just chilling in there as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, H was just chilling on the balcony. It was such a weird vibe. But yeah, it was a good concert. I hadn't been to one in ages, and I don't even listen to him anymore. I started listening to him because I got into this whole like emo rap sad boy trap phase after my first breakup, and that's obviously happens.
Fuck.
And then like I was like, let's just fuck it, let's go. And I forgot actually I quite like his music. I only listen to like The Weeknd now, to be honest. It's like such a different music taste I have compared to back then. But I forgot he put on a good show. It was a great entertainer. It was a good night. So.
Where was it?
O2 Islington.
Okay, yeah. What's that song called? It's like I fell in love.
Oh yeah, it's the same time that you fall apart. Gone Girl.
Yeah, Gone Girl. Yeah, banger. Yeah, I just associate that with this holiday, like last summer. Like certain songs remind you of certain places and shit. Yeah, that's cool. You were talking about before when we paused. You're like involved in other shit as well. Then
yeah.
What are you involved in?
Yeah, so
let's dive into that.
Yeah, so I think for me it was how I was always, when I was like realized I was entrepreneurial. I never actually wanted to do influencer marketing long term. I was like, this is going to be a business that I'm going to probably do for a certain level of time and then go into something that I'm actually more interested in, like Elon Musk type shit, like tech, Silicon Valley, like whatever's kind of big at that specific time.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do now, make that transition.
Like I think because it's like you can build up skills but it's not really anything groundbreaking, like the marketing, e-com, influencer, paid ad space is like you can do a good service, can make good money, do things in a different way, but you're not really doing anything mad. So I was always like really interested in tech, artificial intelligence and computing and stuff. So that's like the future plan, but that's like still long term. But I kind of wanted it to be like a bit of like a serial entrepreneur and just start a bunch of shit, build a business that was scalable, sustainable, and I can obviously just invest the cash into other areas. So the first thing that I started working on was getting into like property, and that came out of me being at St Andrews at uni. The housing situation there for students is mental. You have to like start looking for a place in like January for going back to term in September. So you have to like you have basically, and it's like a bidding war almost. Like the landlords and the languages, like it's such a limited supply, but because it's so many students, and after first year you don't want to end up in halls because you're just one of them weird guys that stays in halls for again. So you try to get a flat, and we were just struggling to get a flat. But I'd always kind of thought St Andrews was going to be a good place to buy property, and I started speaking to different people who do buy to student lets or holiday lets, and they told me basically you want to be investing in places that have kind of like 3 use cases, so tourism, student economy, and then kind of professional let, and St Andrews, Durham, Bath, these kind of places all have that. So bought a property there and rented student rentals throughout the term, and then through summer golf is massive in St Andrews, like the home of golf. St Andrews has got like 18 golf courses. This summer's the Open, which is like the massive I don't really know much about golf, but I just know it's a massive. It's like
I've definitely played the St Andrews course on like Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2007 or something.
Yeah, probably have. Yeah, the old course St Andrews, like the infamous one. But I don't really know much about golf, but I just know that the Open is like that's like the big thing of golf. And it's in St Andrews this summer, so summer rent prices are crazy. So that was the idea, is to get one up there, see a performance for a bit, and then start investing in different places. So probably in the UK it'd be like St Andrews, Durham, Bath, but maybe even abroad in kind of developing places that will be you could buy in cheap, and then over time they will grow. It's not really, this is just more like kind of like a long-term plan for me, just buy, hold the property, when
did you buy the first one in St Andrews?
Last September, the process was fucking
Well, yeah, because
mad,
that's
man.
the first thing that comes to mind with me. Like, I think a lot of people would think, how the fuck do you even buy a house at 19? Because, like, firstly, yeah, whatever, I assume you got a mortgage, did you?
Yeah.
But, like, how do you even get a mortgage at 19?
Yeah, so...
Because I tried to buy a place.
Uh-huh.
I didn't buy a place in the end because it would have been the fucking terrible decision. When I was 25 and trying to get a fucking mortgage was ludicrous because I was self-employed.
Yeah, so it's it was a fucking was it 19? No, I was 20 at the time. But still, doesn't really make a difference. 19, 20. So the way it kind of worked out was my dad, he's a GP, and their like GP practice has like a financial advisor.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to buy this, my dad was like, "Oh, their like financial advisor, do you know anything about this?" And he was like, "No, but I can recommend you to this other financial advisor." So I got in touch with him, started working with him, and basically he just kind of sorted it all. I just needed to like, the way it worked was that no one would give me a mortgage except from one company, and that was simply because, obviously, you know, for being self-employed, I technically make 12.5k a year, or whatever. No one's going to give me a mortgage, especially not for a property in St Andrews like that. But this one mortgage company takes your business earnings, and basically because how they see it is, it's like he could technically have that all for himself. It's just in his company. So they gave me a mortgage based off business earnings, and I had to get accounts done, get an accountant to like do a bunch of shit. He got it sorted, and I didn't actually have a clue to buy property, so my dad was heavily involved, just helping me just get it sorted. So like, where do you start? Like, they don't teach you this type of shit.
No,
they don't teach you anything.
It's one of the things. Yeah, I nearly bought a flat just over there. In fact, I put a non-refundable deposit on it, and I lost that because I backed out in the end, which would have been a terrible buy. Yeah, because fucking flat prices around here.
Oh yeah, London ridiculous. Is crazy. Like I was,
it was smaller than this flat, and it was
I was speaking to someone who was saying that basically, if you want to buy a property in London, you have to be extremely wealthy because you got to accept that you're probably gonna make a loss on it.
Stamp duty alone on that flat would have been 80 grand.
Jesus.
And I didn't even know that until I got into the process.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was all this tax and stuff, because I remember when I was like, all right, this is the value of the property, and then when I go to pay the lawyer to like send the money across, he's like, oh yeah, you've got this tax, and I'm like, I've just got to like put another 5 figures in, like what? But yeah, my dad like was just myself, because obviously no one teaches you this shit. I was like, right, Dad, because he known this, and my dad basically like helped me through the process. I don't know, he's just very interested in helping me with like business stuff. He's actually the other director of my main company, because when I was 17, I could have a business bank account, so my dad had to be involved.
He didn't screw you like the other one?
Nah, not at all. My dad's got 0 shares, just a director. But my dad's like he's very helpful with just like, he obviously is a doctor, but he's very smart financially. So he's always been able to like help me with different things. So he basically explained how the process of it, helped me get that process started. Obviously we got this financial advisor on, and he put the deal together. He connected me to a lawyer sorted it all, and then we were meant to buy a different flat, but it was like a private sale, the first one, and the guy just like backed out last minute, and then it put me in a really shit situation to try and find one quickly. But luckily it was like a couple going on the market at that time. Got that, moved in on September the 30th, and then it's a 2-bed, rent the other room to.
Oh, so you actually live there?
Yeah, so I live there just now until I leave uni. I'm just gonna stay there.
Okay, right.
Well, live there's probably an overstatement. I'm never there. I actually feel bad for my family's just alone all the time. I'm there very, very infrequently. So I rent the room out to him, one of the other rooms, and then once I leave, he doesn't know I'm leaving yet. I'm gonna have to have that conversation with him.
He does now.
Well, if he's watching this, I'll send him the podcast. I'll be like, yo, I've got something to tell you. Send him the podcast and he can watch it.
Skip to 50, whatever
skip
this
to
is.
whatever it is. So I'm gonna need to tell him, you got to find a new flatmate, and then obviously rent out to the 2 of them, and then through summer when it's not term time, it's just Airbnb, golf lets, and it's just because that's where the big money comes in, because you get like people come from all abroad for the golf.
Yeah, Trump will come over and play.
I know, exactly. So it's crazy because I think the kind of standard weekly rent you can get there in summer for like a 2-bed is like 5 to 7k, right?
Jesus Christ, for a little flat, that's mad.
But in the open, it's like between 25 and 80k for a week.
What?
That's not for 2-bed. The 80k one was a 5-bed, but my brother's managing
for a week.
For that 1 week of the open.
Fucking
my
hell.
brother's listed it because my brother's doing it for me, because my brother, he's older than me, but he was in the financial space and actually just left his job because he didn't fucking like it.
Yeah.
And he's looking for another thing, but I was like, well, should find another job, just can you handle this for me, because you're smart. You're smart with numbers. So he's been doing it all, and he like listed it up for 28k for that week. Done.
Jesus Christ.
And it's mental. And then obviously the normal.
Who's paying that for a little flat? Like some
fucking
some
rich golfers, man. Rich fucking golfers.
Yeah, rich golfers.
And it's not even this, like, it's the whole of that's the thing. Every time the Open comes, the uni close the uni earlier, so they can make the most of it, because like the cash that you get from that is insane for that 1 week. But obviously, other than that, it's like between 5 to 7k per week. Basically, you can make for rent. So it's a very good space for. Obviously, property prices up there are, much higher than generally in Scotland. Like, Scotland is pretty cheap generally, other than St Andrews. But rent prices are good, so it's like a long term game. Although I'm trying to basically get that money because obviously I had to buy it personally because of when you buy flat price, you probably know from that you get like the first buy interest rates being cheaper, so I didn't put it through a company, so it's like all self-employed. So that's the only issue I'm gonna have to work out around like the tax stuff. But ideally, I'm trying to basically this year, like, a goal is to like try and retire my mum, because she fucking hates her job. Hates it. My dad likes being a doctor. My mum hates it now.
Is she a GP as well?
She's a GP as well. But and the issue was she used to love it.
Does she fucking hate it because of COVID?
It's not that. It was like the reason she started hating is because there's like a senior partner in the practice, and the old senior partner unfortunately passed away, and my mum was like the next step that up, and she just doesn't really like leadership and like managing stuff, and it's become so stressful for her, and she just like feels she can't leave. So I'm like, right, I'm gonna on her birthday in August hand her a fucking check, get out of there. But I'm gonna basically try to work out with this like financial advisor how to get this money to her legitimately without having to get taxed through me. So it's like all crazy at the moment with that. But yeah, this is the first one, and I'm hopefully gonna see how it goes. I think I've been speaking to a lot of people in property, and I think there's gonna be like a bit of like a property dip, so hopefully like buy in that sort of dip. So that's the kind of first project, and then working on a couple of other things. Started this like the classic kind of education kind of stuff, and then business. There's another like Scottish entrepreneur who's come through sort of the same traditional Scottish route as me. Came to me in summer was like, we get a lot of like inquiries like within the Scottish space of like how do you get there, because the Scottish like business ecosystem is pretty poor. There's a lot out there, but like not really much comes out of Scotland, other than like a few things like Brewdog and like GTA came out of Scotland and stuff.
Shit, did it? Was
yeah,
that Rockstar Games?
Yeah, Rockstar Games is out in.
I knew Brewdog did. Yeah,
Brewdog, Rockstar Games, that's in Scotland. So like, there's a few anomalies that are massive, but other than that, generally the space isn't there. So it's quite difficult. But yeah, he came to me and was like, yeah, we get all these inquiries. Why don't we just like combine our experience and like start teaching what we know and putting everything together. So
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, so we're starting doing this. We're launching it tomorrow. Basically just working with like select people, and essentially they're going to outline their kind of 3, 6, 9 month goals, and we're basically just going to get them there faster than they would have, bring everything together, get guest entrepreneurs on to teach them different things. Like we got property guy and crypto guy, SMA people, salesperson on to basically do that. So that's like that project.
I honestly think just on that like online courses and shit and communities now, unequivocally, is that the word? Like you cannot argue that they're not more valuable than the average degree.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
And that's why I find it quite funny when obviously cause I've got a fucking ecom course which I sell from this now, and I actually had a call with one of the guys that bought it the other day, and like just the act of speaking to someone that doesn't know what you know, because you forget what you've learned. Yeah. Just the act of speaking about it was like, oh, I actually do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, but yeah, and it just makes me think back to like, I mean, my experience of uni is only my experience, but Jesus fucking Christ, like unless you want to be, a doctor or a lawyer, something, I think vocational is the word.
Yeah. That we
for
have
like
to
business
get
and marketing stuff now, I genuinely think uni is like long gone.
Yeah, 100%. I was actually
it's like embarrassing.
I was talking to a friend actually, and over COVID, uni became the most expensive online video course basically
of all time.
That literally is, because that's all it was. And how I see it, don't get me wrong, I'm not an advocate of dropping out of uni or anything. If people want to go, they go. I
still think it's a great social experience.
I went. I'm still there actually. So I'm not advocate. Obviously, I'm leaving the end of this year. So but I'm not. I know if someone wants to go, I'm not going to be like, because I know a lot of people in the space, especially the people that I'm friends with, that are like, fucking drop out, uni is a waste of time. Like, if someone wants to go, they go. You just got to weigh up the pros and cons, and if the ROI you're going to get out of it really, in your opinion. But how I see it is that, why, especially within this kind of space, if you want to like do something with business, why would you learn from someone who's employed to just teach you like out of a curriculum, as opposed to learning from someone who's actually been there, done that? Which is why communities, courses, online stuff, where you're actually learning from someone who's has the there's the credibility of getting there. Your uni lecturer, if he was making, if he was running a 6-figure company or a 7-figure company, he wouldn't be fucking a uni lecturer. So you would ideally want to learn from that. So that's like, I think a lot of people don't actually still realize that. They're like, you got to go to uni to do this. But as I say, unless you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, where you actually need these qualifications, you don't.
I think it's a difficult one because I completely agree. Like, I still think the social side and living away from parents for the first time for most people, including me, when I went, is great.
Yeah, that was probably the best experience for me.
Because I don't think the answer is like uni disappears and everyone, I don't know what, sits in their fucking mum's basement and does an econ course. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just, it feels so archaic and like genuinely really far behind the times now that it's kind of got embarrassing. Like, if I was the head of a uni, I'd be a bit worried. Well, maybe I wouldn't, because it's so ingrained in society, but
to be fair,
literally, you can't say it's not borderline scam.
Yeah,
for a lot of courses now.
I think a lot of courses really. What I've realized is that a lot of courses, like, and I'm not going to share anyone's course, but most people's courses, they do a course and then end up something completely different. Like, my ex-girlfriend's older brother did Greek and Latin and ended up as a fucking accountant. You always end up as like something that is like, financial or whatever. Like, most of the courses that people do, they go and it's not even, they're spending, obviously in England, I think it's like 9 or something K a year. They're like spending 9K a year to like study the subject you're passionate about, and you actually probably really end up there. But they are so behind the times. Like, all the stuff that we get taught and then like the management stuff is just like management theory from the 1900s. How is that applicable to starting like maybe some of it is still, but in general it isn't really. And my uni principal, she asked to meet me at the start of this year, and she like sat me down and was like, right, how can we like improve like the business side and entrepreneurship and teaching side of like unis? And I was like, right, well, firstly, your entrepreneurship courses just doesn't help at all. You actually need to like actively support people, and because you're not going to become an entrepreneur by like learning it off some guy teaching you out of a thing. You've got to actually implement stuff where they can actively do and try and start businesses, learn all of that. But I think they do realize, but it's just because of probably how difficult it is to change, or how it is in society, that they're not going to do it. I think most uni students know, like especially at St Andrews, like all these like confessions pages, like like the usual shit, and everyone's there just like, we're getting scammed, like, because the rent prices there are so high. The uni just like clearly does everything for their profit. Like, everyone I think is relatively aware of it, but they also still think that's like the only way.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, because I think like unis a lot of them are massive. Well, I think most of them are massive private businesses.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Northumbria in Newcastle before I dropped out, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the biggest unis by revenue in the UK. I was reading it's like 400 million a year.
Oh shit, yeah.
Which is fucking big. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if their accounts are public. Maybe they are. They've probably got some offshore shit going on. But it's someone's getting paid.
Yeah.
And it isn't the student.
No, it's
in knowledge. In most of the cases.
No, most of it. I mean, like, you think about it, right?
And everyone's in on it, including the government.
Yeah.
Which obviously finance all these students.
In Scotland, obviously it's free, but like, say in England, right, you go for 3 years, pay 9K, you're 27K, right? You're in debt, right? And actually way more because of accommodation. Let's say you're 50K in debt, you come out uni.
Yeah.
And you start in a role that is probably going to pay you between like 18 to 24K average.
Yeah.
And how much can you actually pay back on your loan of that? Because
it's ultimately the system, isn't it? And like, don't get me started on like conspiracies and shit, but it is how it is. Like,
as well, yeah.
I think the further you get away from that, as you maybe like get older or like get into like entrepreneurial circles and shit. And it's like, it's not a fucking joke. Like it literally is the system, and it's the system is how it is for a reason. Yeah. And yeah, like it all fucking makes sense when you become a bit more aware of like 100%. What's going on. Yeah. But yeah, I don't necessarily have a better suggestion, because like I said, I think shit like, you know, online courses, communities are great, but I'm not necessarily sure that everyone should just leave school at 18, go and get, you know, like a shit job and then do like a course on the side. It's probably better to be at uni, like surrounded by like-minded people potentially. Yeah. But everyone's different.
And I guess it also just really fully depends on what everyone's interest. Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, we're probably very different. We are, you know, there are select people who want to be their own boss, have their own lifestyle, but other people just are like, want to do something within a company. So it doesn't really make sense to, you know, just do a course or whatever. But at the same time, you know, that's completely fine, but the uni system still need to like catch up to adapt to like actually help these people more and teach them more, prepare them better for, you know, what they're at their role. Because like you go to uni, you get your degree, right? And I just noticed because my brother did it. He did economics, and he still had to spend like 1 to 2 more years like training to actually learn how to do his job. So like you still like have to do all this learning after, but there's a load of stuff that can be changed and done. But yeah, really, that's what we're trying to do, is help people who have some sort of idea, aspiring, give them the skill set and the tools that they need to get to where they are, connect them to the people that are important within their industry to go through. So got a wide mix of people in it. Got people who obviously come through to like learn about influencer marketing. For me, got like he runs a product based business, so you know, product stuff, and it's like a, you know, we initially tailored it at like Scotland, but we've got like like a South African guy in there, like a guy from Jordan, like it's quite interesting. But yeah, we're building this up, seeing what value you can provide to like this first group of people, and then, you know, once we can do that, get the testimonials, and obviously, you know, as you upsell and, you know, this kind of standard stuff. But it's not really one for me, which is like, you know, I can probably, you know, these type of ones, you know, courses and communities and stuff, they can, you know, generate a good amount. But I think for us too, it's more just, we had all this people coming to us, and it was like, this is the easiest way to actually help them and provide that value than responding to everyone individually. You know, if they're seriously, and the thing we like to them is like, don't join us unless you like seriously want to take action, because people always sometimes as well blame the education courses or whatever they're doing for no results. But it's like, if you just don't actually take any action or do what they've taught you within that, then you can't, you're not going to get anywhere from it. But yeah, that's like a kind of project we're starting at the moment. And then I'm starting a couple of other things. There's like 2 sort of more secret ones. One I can talk about a little bit, the other one I can't really say anything about, but I'm starting that with like 2 guys who are like in the music scene within, they're 2 guys from Glasgow as well, who are like music managers and stuff. So we're starting something with them. But I'm also getting into the OnlyFans space. So not myself. Unfortunately, honestly, if I could, I think I would. To be honest, I was saying to someone, like, if I had the facilities, if I was a hot girl, make some good money off OnlyFans, slap it into good investments, and I'm set.
I'd love to get the OnlyFans founder on this pod. I didn't realise he was an English guy.
Who?
The OnlyFans founder.
Oh, the OnlyFans founder, yeah.
He's not very, I don't think he's particularly in the public domain. I don't know. I was reading about him, but that'd be a mad podcast.
That would be mad, because like, yeah, because it's like be so much shit with OnlyFans. Obviously, they never started to be in the whole adult entertainment space. It just started as a way to like, I guess, like another Patreon.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying, but they probably knew.
It's a PR move.
Yeah, but then obviously they did the whole thing where they like said they're going to ban adult content, and then they just completely revoked it.
That was 100% a PR stunt.
Oh yeah, 100% PR stunt, and then they like went back on it because the outcry and stuff. Yeah, getting into that space because you know, obviously the influence management, so the kind of next, you know, another area is just obviously OnlyFans management. So kind of working in an OnlyFans management company with a couple of people. I don't really say too much about it or how I got in that space or why, because that will just give away the other people involved. But it just came, I'm doing it with 2 business partners. It just came from my network connections and experience in the management space in general, and the man, the way this stuff is run is crazy. Like, I'm not even saying this from like our own
So
stuff.
are you technically getting into e-whoring? Is that the term? I've seen it on Twitter.
I don't know if
you
that's
like
like what
an
it's
online
called.
pimp?
See, someone described it to me as like bona fide pimping. Like, because obviously it's like
Yeah.
kind of figure. I don't know if that's like what it's called. Like, I just call it like e-girl management, OnlyFans management. But it's like our whole message is more like about. Because the thing with the two people I'm starting with is like they're like really big on the fact that it's really stigmatized the space. And more in two ways. One from, you know, obviously the girls get a lot of shit from it. You know, if they just get called like, you know, different stuff, and it may not necessarily be that, it's just another revenue stream. But the space is very stigmatized, and also, you know, if a girl or a guy even is like really is already wanting to do it, then it's the case that they'll take it's like an influencer. They'll work with a company to take that forward and diversify everything, because OnlyFans is only one part of it. You know, you need to actually diversify it across other strands of content, and the most successful OnlyFans creators are the ones that have a big influence across all the other platforms. But there's like a load of stuff that goes on in the back end, because I know another OnlyFans, there's a big OnlyFans management company in the UK, and they've got like mental health like staff on to like, because obviously there's a lot of mental health stuff that comes from it. There's like a whole team that like run the stuff in the back end. So like, you know, I mean, I don't know if you'll know, but like one of the big part of the way that OnlyFans girls make a lot of money is like the upselling within the chat.
Yeah.
So
Getting
you know,
asked for like
guys will like
pics of
ask
feet
for their
and
stuff, and then they just like, okay, give me like $5,000 and I'll do that. So, but it's like, it's never the girls actually talking. It's like they've got like a whole team behind who actually do the messaging and stuff.
What services like the agency
Do
provides?
only management companies. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't. We've not launched ours yet. Ours launched in the start of this
But,
year.
like, how
So,
would
or how would it, or
hypothetically work?
what would they? So again, they do all this kind of stuff that a traditional talent management would do. So obviously, like kind of other commercial opportunities. But the thing that they do the main things are like kind of content diversification and strategy. So helping the girls start on like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. So they'll manage, do all the copy for like tweets, Reddit, do all the Instagram stuff. Basically film all the YouTube, edit all the YouTube stuff, basically do that. Essentially almost like a lot of them just basically tell the girls, right, this is what you need to film, record today, do that,
like
send
just
it.
productizing their personal
Yeah,
brand
it's
almost.
a lot. Some of the biggest companies are really just that they have the whole system, the team set up in place where they're like, okay, you do this today, and then the team run everything in the back end. So they'll handle everything, like uploading of the content, uploading of everything across their social media, helping them get into different platforms, doing all like the chat for the girls. So like obviously, when, as I was saying, the chat stuff is always run by like a team in the back end who are, you know, actually talking to the people who are buying, and just do the marketing as well. As I say, across Reddit's a massive one for this space in particular, but it's like a full service thing. They have like they've got like a dedicated manager, account manager, people on the sales side, strategy.
Sales.
It's like
it sounds funny in that context.
Exactly. That's what they call it.
sales.
I know the OnlyFans, the other OnlyFans management company, and they've got they're called sales manager, but obviously their whole job is just upselling these guys to pay more, and they've got like the marketing team, which is just writing horny tweets or writing horny shit on Reddit, and that's like, but they're obviously called like you know, like official titles, but it's like a full like service operation, whereas the creator gets basically said, right, you need to create this today, this is the strategy we're going to go for. They do it, and the whole back, everything is taken care of, and then the management company will take like certain percentage.
So I was going to say, like, what sort of percentage would they take?
So the one company that I know, like the biggest one's like 50%. They take 50, yeah, because it's like they run everything. But standards is probably like, I imagine, like 30, because it's like in the influencer management space, it's like kind of 10 to 30, but OnlyFans space is going to be slightly more because it's like a full service thing, because you're actually creating everything for the girls. But as I say, some are 50. I know some in America where it's like the management's got like 80% of it.
That's mad.
But that's like when it gets like proper kind of like, that's where it's like you're like you're like pimping type shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's kind of more fair, but our whole thing is just about kind of trying to destigmatize it, standing with the creators. If they want to do it, we will support them to get to that level, and obviously they'll benefit as well. But that's another venture that I'm getting involved in at the moment. Just trying to do a lot of different things that have high growth potential.
Why would you not just like playing devil's advocate, just like focus on one thing. Because obviously you mentioned like long term you want to do like Elon Musk shit. Obviously plenty of time for that. But like why like spread yourself into so many things right now?
Well, I think
do you think they all have like synergy between each other and it makes sense?
I mean, I think obviously the two influencer and the OnlyFans management company will have synergy with each other for sure, because that's how I obviously got into the OnlyFans space, was through managing creators and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously the course and online the education stuff is just more come from my business partner bringing it to me, and we just thought this is quite a good time for us to do it. Property stuff was more just because I'm interested in it, but I think it's the case where I've got the agency to a stage, not completely, but a stage where obviously it can run itself and stability and automated stuff. So now I'm just focusing and I'm wanting to do stuff I'm more interested, because I feel like I am actually at a stage where there was a period of time like in December I was like kind of bored of doing this, because I've been doing it for so long. I like, obviously this agency has been running for 3.5 years, but I have been in the space since I was 13. I have been doing it for like 7 years. You know, however much, you know, I would really call technically being in the space at 13, like, but I have technically been doing some similar stuff for like 7 years. So I was kind of like, I want to just start other stuff, just from like more of a, I'm going to go insane if I just keep doing the same thing. Obviously, you know, we can add more, you know, unique stuff to the agency and things like that, but I just always like to just keep moving and doing new things. So I just thought now was quite a good time, and obviously, as I say, the agency is, you know, making good money and stuff. There's a team running different things. I'm still heavily involved, but that's more just so from the fact that I was really so passionate about this space. Yeah. But obviously, I like to travel a lot now, so it's now a lot more the team pick up a lot, and then it's also just good as well that I can invest a lot of the cash that is made from the business into other areas, you know, tax and everything like that. So yeah.
Building that whole ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. And I say I've always just like wanted to be a bit of a serial entrepreneur, so there's not really any reason that for it starting right now. It's just
because I always
things
like,
have fallen into place.
I notice
right now.
people, like some people I know have always done like one thing, and then I've dabbled in a lot of different things, but specifically in ecom. But then, you know, come across people or hear about people where it seems like they do fucking 50 different things, and then it just works for them. And I suppose you have to find what I guess works for you, but also what you fucking like doing as well.
Yeah, for sure. I guess there is always going to be like that opportunity cost of, you know, if I solely spent all my waking hours on the agency and fully focused, that could have obviously been way bigger than it is. But it's also like, I'm happy with what it's doing, and I'm obviously still, you know, this year we've got a lot of big plans for growth anyway with it, but then it's like I just want to try new things and get into new areas, because I think actually being in the sort of, you know, SMMA space, like I'm not the influencer marketing isn't really the traditional SMMA stuff. The paid it's like paid ads mostly, but like being in that traditional space, you only really like learns, you can obviously learn about business, but you only really learn so much about like one space. And it's like, if I wanted to do like, again, tech, Elon Musk stuff, I would have the business knowledge of like, and the connections, everything that I would need, but I also just don't really know a huge amount. So it's like doing different things, trying different things, I start learning about all the different areas, and it's just stuff that interests me. Like before I knew nothing about property, and now I've like looked into it a lot, have my own place, understand like different metrics, net yield, and the importance of, you know, getting the right property and everything like that. So it's just doing stuff that I'm kind of interested in that could have long-term.
So like the whole
potential.
Elon Musk shit then, like, do you know, obviously just like bigger, more impactful tech stuff is I think what you're saying. Like,
I've got no idea what.
Is that just, that would be nice hypothetically, or is there literally like an area that you're super interested in? But you haven't figured out how to do it yet.
When I was first interested in this, it was like more kind of artificial intelligence, robotics type stuff, because I was like always just infatuated with like robots and stuff. It's like shit, like I was just, because like seeing all the movies where like robots take over and stuff, I was like, that's crazy, because like robots obviously they're doing so much around, you know, robotics and AI, so it's probably something that obviously that's still a very broad space, because everything is so niche, so I don't really know yet. I think my timeline and framework was like I wanted to be like in the doing kind of this sort of stuff until I was like, you know, 10 years on for the business, so like in these areas, maybe sell it, exit it, or even just like still own it and then just have it completely run by like a CEO or something, or a board or whatever, and then invest that money, just because obviously, you know, if you want to get into something like that, a lot of upfront investment. I think that was the idea. I've not really developed the idea much more, because I say I'm 20 and that idea is more around like when I'm 7-8 years time, and whatever, you know, I may be interested in now, robotics, artificial intelligence, and that 7-8 years time, there must be might completely different, because it's all it's all moving so fast. But yeah, I was always just like so interested in like how that, like, you know, some of the stuff that he's doing is crazy. Like, it's just how that all works. And I think if I can get into that space and do something because that's where the real big, you know, business and impact is gonna be in the world. So I think, yeah, that is not, as I say, it's not really much of a developed plan, but that's just like kind of the goal, really.
Yeah, I feel like everyone definitely, you have to, you get your feet wet, like, in business. Is that even a term? Like, you fucking like in, like, I guess for most people, it's like e-commerce of some sort, whether that's starting with dropshipping, building a brand, SMMA, obviously, like, they're kind of like the typical,
the entry routes into business.
Entry routes where it's like something you can potentially quick cash flow, certainly like quick learnings. And then, I mean, like, certainly for me, like the business I'm now working on, I think has potential to be like a 10-year plus business. And like, I'm just fucking balls deep into like, I don't know what it is. There's something tells me it's definitely the right thing for me to work on now. And it's like, it's using, I mean, I don't speak about it that much in this podcast, but going into the psychedelic wellness.
Yeah, no, I've seen what you're doing, because I saw your post about raising the funding or whatever recently.
So it's, I mean, like, building another econ brand, but in a market and a space that, you know, 99% of people wouldn't even think is possible to do something in, rather than just, I say just, but like had a jewelry brand before, then had a lighting brand, you know, like very easily replicatable sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more exciting, and I'll probably either end up in prison or I'll become a billionaire. So
either way,
or somewhere in between. Yeah, maybe statistically most likely, but I don't know. I think I've got to the point now where I don't know if everyone gets to that point where you kind of want to work on something that maybe has a bit more meaning to it. Yeah. Because it kind of comes full circle. Like, make a bit of money. I've lost a bit of money as well, but like, you kind of realize that that's probably not gonna, like, obviously I want to make a load of money from this next thing, but like, I also want it to have more of a purpose and a mission behind it, rather than just let's make another fucking XYZ, you know, fashion brand because
it will make me a lot of money.
I need to make money. Like,
I think definitely
I just can't put my soul into that anymore.
It is, and I think soul was what I was going to use, and I think like the whole kind of like online sort of money making spaces do get a bit like soulless and toxic after a while. It's like, because, you know, I think everyone enters these sort of sectors because it's like they search up how to make money online, and these are
to stop having to go the traditional route.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like the easiest ways. And then it does come full circle in the sense that you realize, okay, this is great. I'm making a bit of cash, making a bit of money, but as I said earlier, you're not really doing anything impactful or groundbreaking. It's all very the same. You master it, you make cash, and then you're like, okay, I'm kind of just losing my soul doing this. Yeah. What can I do and apply my knowledge to do something that could be more impactful, and then also at the same time more impactful but much longer term. So that's why it's always like building up a good cash flow, cash cow business, and then starting something of interest. So I think just being self-aware as well, innit? Like, what do you actually want to do? Because a lot of people probably just be happy making a bit of money than getting out of the game. Some people probably don't even want to be in the game in the first place. They just feel like they should because everyone talks about NFTs these days. And that's like the new entrepreneurship thing. And then some people, like fucking Elon Musk, who actually go and do like, I mean, I say some people, like 0.00001% of people. But there's so much you can do. It's mad. But fuck, it's kind of deep. Like, what's next over the next 6 to 7 years then before you get into robotics and all that shit? Because you've obviously done fucking loads for your age, particularly already. I've not got like that far plan yet, to be honest, but I think in terms of life, so once I finish uni, the end of this year.
Mad. Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna.
haven't dropped out yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, once I drop it of uni this year, because it's ticked. Is it? I don't want to say I'm dropping it. I don't know, but
you're finishing it.
I'm finishing it just a year early. I'm gonna literally pack up my shit, put it all back in my family home, and then just travel. I want to be a nomad for a bit. It's like something that just appeals to me because it's the thing, and I realized like over the last couple of years that when I was younger, you know, my parents like to travel, they take me across the world, different places, and I was like, didn't appreciate it. I was so ungrateful. I was like, I just didn't really enjoy going abroad or with them. And then, you know, the pandemic hit, and then I moved to London last summer for the summer, and obviously it's just London, but like Glasgow to London was such a massive change, and it felt like a new country. And then I started traveling with like friends and then entrepreneurship, and I was like, this is fucking great. I really enjoy this. You know, it's like seeing new people, meeting, you know, different cultures. Because Scotland is, you know, in the UK is great, but everything else to me just looks so much better. And every time I go somewhere new, I'm like, I love this place even more. So I went to like 5-6 places in like this latter half of last year. And then I'm going to a couple more places in the earlier part of this year. But when I finish uni, I just want to continue that habit, go to as many places as I can as possible, meet as many new people, experience as many new cultures, communities, countries. So I plan to like travel for like just a year or two, be a nomad. I don't know, it just depends on when I decide I'm done with it. But you know, maybe like live like month to month in a different place. I don't know, I'm not fully worked out. I've mapped out like the different places I want to go, but not the lengths of time.
Where do you want to go?
So I want to see basically, I went to Norway back in November, and I fucking fell in love with Scandinavia. Cause
I've only been to Sweden and Scandinavia. It was cool.
Yeah, Norway was just beautiful. It was like this perfect place. So I want to go to all of Scandinavia, see what I like the best. They're the classic, like in a nomad place like Bali, Thailand.
I love Bali.
Tokyo, I want to go to.
It's called Tokyo because I went there 3 times.
Really? I want Tokyo looks amazing.
Yeah,
I want to go to like different parts of Africa, like South Africa, Cape Town, obviously like a big one for like kind of our space. Madagascar appealed to me. Different parts of America, like LA, you know, all that.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe as well, because I've like only been in Western Europe, never really seen what Eastern Europe's like.
Cool. I think I went to Budapest. Is that Eastern Europe? Yeah.
I think it counts. Yeah, I think it counts.
I don't think I've been like proper Eastern Europe, like Poland and shit.
Yeah, I've not like been to any. It's like I've only really been to. I want to see what it's like, because everyone talks about like Western Europe, Eastern Europe. I don't really know what Eastern Europe's like. So there as well. Monaco's a big one because obviously that's just like the playground of the rich. Basically, I just want to see how they're living. It's mad.
Go see Philip Green as you.
But yeah, and the idea is like I want to find where I really like and want to settle down and then go there. But obviously there's going to be multiple like reasons as to why to move there, that, you know, if I like the place, but obviously like if it doesn't make sense for career, business and all that, then you know, it might not be the move. But find where I like, settle down there. Obviously would still travel, you know, bits, and you know, obviously you have to for business, but that's the idea over the next, you know, 1-2 years. Not really have a base, obviously. Well, the home base would be my family home in Glasgow, and then just kind of live that digital entrepreneur nomad life, scale the businesses. From there, see where the different projects go, and then 6-7 years. I've not really thought further than 2 years at this point, to be honest.
I think you need to. Shit, like just look at the last 2 years. This time 2 years ago, no one knew about COVID, right?
Yeah.
How mad is that?
I feel like you can set yourself like a 1, 3, 5, 10 year long term plan, but it never actually.
It will always change.
It always changes. Like it's good because you set yourself a vision you want to get to, and you have something to work towards. But it always changes. Like when I started out stuff when I was 13, 7 years on, I never thought it'd be the same place. I never planned for this when I to be. Yeah. I never thought 20 years old I want to be at this place.
Yeah, 100%.
But next year is really just travel, live the life as like a young guy, like 20s and stuff, and then settle in a country. Not really like settle down, but it's like settle in a country, and then still be you know, because I mean, I'm in my 20s. I'm so young. Just see the world, do things, build the businesses, and then, you know, hopefully in that time, discover and, you know, maybe look more into what I want to be like my more impactful long-term business, and then, you know,
figure out how to make robots.
Figure out how to do that, exactly. Figure out how much money I'm going to need, who I need to speak to, and how I'm going to do it. A lot of fucking money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. All right, final question. Pretty much bang on 90 minutes, which I'm getting good at this. I've started asking everyone this. It's so cheesy, but I guess for you, like, if you could give advice to your 13-year-old self, when you got started, I guess, what would it be? Just in everything in life, business life, whatever. I guess however you want to put it.
I think there was two things, because someone actually asked me this on Twitter the other day, so I kind of know. They literally asked me, I had to think about it. I was like, I actually know them now. I gave him 3 and I forgot the third one. Build your network. It's like, I've realized that actually my network has been the most important thing, because that's got me in all the big opportunities I've had has just been from knowing the correct people, building that network. And that's something that just comes, you need to just meet as many interested people that you want to be like, and that can open up so many doors. So build your network as early as possible, because everything within an influencer space as well, network is everything. Who you know is so important. Just take action sooner and start stuff. Don't be worried about anything, because this is something I always say to like younger people who are interested in it, because I've done a lot of talks to younger people because of my story. And I think the message I always leave them is that don't let an experience in life, like what happened to me, be the reason you take action or do something you want to do. Just do it. So that kind of thing, like follow those dreams and ambitions, I think are the two main things. And also I think as well, something I learned becoming an entrepreneur and stuff is like, don't really care about other people's opinions, to the extent you have to. And when you're younger, especially with the whole everything just like social and school and stuff, everyone's always so how am I going to look in this scenario. It's like you actually, that is such a big thing for people, but I did realize that like life becomes so much better when you just don't give a fuck about except what you want to do. True. And just focus on that. I have people like say stuff to me and different things, and it's just like, in past to it I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, and taking it down, and it's like, I don't care. I just don't give a fuck. So I think that's very important, especially like, cause you need that in the entrepreneurship game, or just in life in general, because if you want to succeed in anything, you just got to do your own thing and not worry about what other people are saying. So yeah, those are the 3 things, I guess.
No, that's cool. All right, on that note, it's been an interesting one. We probably could have gone on for 3 hours, especially if we were drinking red wine like normal, but it's a dry January attempt.
All the episodes. We'll start again from today.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Great to chat. Hope you enjoyed the episode as usual. If you did, fucking subscribe, get those numbers up. Recommend it to a friend if you're enjoying. Plenty more episodes coming. I said publicly we'd get to 50k subs by the end of the year, which I feel like on a channel like this, in this niche, would be pretty fucking impressive. Yeah. But I stand by that, so.
Would you start, sorry, I just asked the question. Would you start monetizing the podcast if it became bigger?
Well, I already have.
Oh, really?
I sell the course off it.
I mean, other than that, like doing like brand deals and stuff during it.
I'm going to sponsor it with my own brand coming soon, for sure. But yeah, I think there's actually ads running on this right now.
All right.
That was like 200 quid in AdSense revenue last month.
All right, fair enough. But I mean, like the brand, because one thing within the podcast space now is that they're actually some of the most demanded channels for like brands.
It's so deep.
Yeah, and because deep in the platform, and like in typical ads, like people just skip over that 60 seconds. But in podcasts, people like don't mind, like actually listen and sit and watch the ad reads. So some of these podcasts have like 4 or 5 ads throughout the whole 1.5 hours, and it's just like, if they're charging, however much that they can for that, like 100.
I definitely will, because
such a good monetization opportunity.
I'll monetize it if and where necessary to make the pod better, because like I already need someone to help me with this shit. So like hiring people fucking costs money, blah blah. Yeah. So I will. But I suppose to get to that level we need more subs and more content and
get subs.
Subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for watching. Peace.